Welcome to Stevie's Kitchen. Today, we're gonna be making a Southwest turkey burger. All right, so we're gonna get started on these Southwest turkey burgers. The first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna get a nice little saute on the veggies. I got 1 bell pepper going there, half of a medium onion, and about 3 cloves of garlic that I've diced up, and we're just gonna get these flavors together because this is what we're gonna put inside the meat. So like I said, I got my 1 bell pepper, sorry. I don't think I can tell you what a bell pear is. Start this off. Just gonna let this go for about 1 to 2 minutes. Just because it's gonna take a little bit longer to get softer than the onions and the garlic. So I'm gonna start this off first. Adds a great color to your turkey burger as well. So I kind of came up with this recipe whenever I was thinking about things that I would want to put on my truck that I wanted to eat. And, you know, turkey burger is cool, but people get bored of just having a simple turkey burger. And of course I needed to add a little something to make it a little bit more appealing, make it a little bit sexier. And who doesn't like good Southwest flavors? So as we got these bell peppers sweating a little bit, now I'm just gonna put in our onions. So these burgers are perfect for summertime. They're perfect for getting ready for an event you gotta go to because there's gonna be a lot of protein in them and not a ton of fat, just based on what type of turkey you get, but I got a 97.3, so a kind of a leaner turkey meat. And also the benefit of having these sweated veggies in there is going to add a little bit of moisture to those patties, so they won't be dry. I know that's a risk that some people run with making turkey burgers, and that's why they don't like them. Now we're going to add in our garlic. And once I've added in the garlic, now we'll start putting in our salt and pepper. Just a little pinch of both. We're going to continue to let this cook for another about 2 to 3 minutes. And then we'll start adding in our seasonings. While I'm letting this cook, some of my favorite moments while playing, I'm still thinking about my very first training camp. You know, you get drafted to Oakland. They do training camp in Napa. Well, when it was in Oakland. Now that they're in Vegas, I don't know where they do it. But when I was in Oakland, we used to go out to Napa and do training camp. Honestly, weather-wise, that's probably the most spoiled training camp you'll ever go to in your life. Like, you wake up in the morning, and when I first got into the league, they were still doing 2 practices a day. And then so the practice at 10 a.m., you like walk outside, it'd be 65 degrees, overcast skies, like it was perfect. And then later in the afternoon, it might be like 72 degrees. But one of the funniest things as like a rookie, whenever you're in training camp, the thing that you're supposed to do is get snacks for everybody. And, you know, everybody'd have basically all the vets on their list, they put up what they want, whether they wanted some Oreos, whether they wanted some Snickers, candy, sunflower seeds, everything like this. Like, they would just put everything out there, and then we'd have to go get them. Everything was pretty straightforward until it came to Nnamdi. Nnamdi was one of the favorite guys that I played with. I learned so much from him. Nnamdi's super smart and everything like that. But Nnamdi was somebody who would challenge you mentally. And Nnamdi had his own list. And I remember one of the things that Nnamdi wanted off of his list, I'm going to mess it up because I don't know the year for sure. But he just said that we had to bring him the lady who finished runner-up in 1967, what was this film? This is on Nnamdi's snack list. I remember looking at Jay Ware and Walt, and we'd be like, we have no clue. We have to go to the internet, figure out who the Oscar nominees were that year for this certain category, figure out who it was. Then once we figured it out, then we had to figure out who finished runner-up. Figured out it was some movie called Elizabeth, whoever the leading actress was in Elizabeth. Then we went on Amazon, ordered a giant poster of this lady to bring to Namdi for his snack time. We bring it to him, he just put up his hands in triumph like, you guys figured it out. And I think he left the poster there. He never used it. But that was probably one of the weirder requests that we had during our time in Oakland doing snack duties. So as I've been telling this story, I've probably put in about a teaspoon of 6 different things over here. I got chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, red chili flakes, and smoked paprika. This is just all that's going in here that's kind of give it that Southwest flavor. You get another little mix on this. Then we're going to let this cool. And then this is what's going to go inside of our patties. So now that our veggies are cooled, I have 2 pounds of ground turkey here, 97.3, like I was saying. I'm just gonna mix them into this. I'm gonna dump the patties or the ground meat into this bowl so I can mix all this together. It's funny, as I was talking about my first training camp in the NFL, it reminded me kind of my first training camp in college. For those who don't know, training camp is the most miserable time of a football season. You wake up, you go to meetings, you eat, you go to meetings, you go to practice, you go to meetings, you go to meetings, you get a workout in, you go back to practice, you go to meetings, you go to bed. And so from about 6 to 9 or so, that's about all you do. So I remember it's freshman year, we're probably about 2.5 weeks in. And the one thing about college that's different than the pros, like at least the pros, you have preseason games to get ready for. In college, you just hit each other for 3 weeks. So I think it was probably about the second week, going into the third week of training camp, and everybody's beat up, everybody's tired. We're going into that meeting before the last practice. And at Michigan, you have a tradition. When Coach Carr walks into the room, everybody stands up and they cheer for excitement and everything like that to show they're ready for another day of Michigan football. And as we all sit down, Coach Carr stops. He starts scanning the room. He talks for about 2 seconds. Then you just hear him go, "Jose!" Everybody gets their attention. Everybody pops up like, who the hell's Jose? There's not a Jose on this football team. And then realized he was saying Eze, as in Obi Eze. Obi's in there like this sleep. And the worst part about it for Obi was Obi had shoulder surgery. So Obi hadn't even been practicing. Obi's just going to meetings. So Coach Carr is like, "Get your ass out of my meeting." Obi has to get up, stand in the middle of the room, walk out. Coach Carr finishes the meeting. We go out. We have practice. Practice is over. Everybody comes up. At the end of practice, Coach Carr's sitting there talking. He's talking about for a couple minutes, and he just stops. "Eze, I thought I told you to get the hell out of my building." Kicks Obi out of the practice. It's like Obi just had to stand up, slink off, run off the field. Man wasn't even practicing. He got kicked out of a meeting and practice all on the same day. That was one of the funnier things I saw freshman year during training camp. Reminded me not to go to sleep, I'll tell you that. So now we got all of our mixture in here. Also, I got 1 can of black beans that I'm gonna add to this. This is a little bit super full, so instead of going in with my spatula right away, my glove up, I'm gonna go in with my hand, get a nice little mixture on this, make sure this is all incorporated. So basically got all this mixed around. Main thing you want to try to do is, what I like to try to do is just make sure I get the beans into more in the middle. Like, they're not going to be perfect, but I will say whenever I sear, having beans more incorporated into the patties instead on the outside gives it a cleaner sear. And then you also don't have just beans falling out everywhere. So now we're going to get these burgers made. I got my ice cream scoop. I'm going to do 2 scoops per patty. I put a little bit of parchment paper in these. I've never actually done this before, but I'm just trying to figure out a way to keep these from sticking as much. So this is my attempt at keeping them from sticking. We're both going to see if this works together. So far, so good. I'm liking it. Peel this off. Just gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt on top to get a crust. Came out pretty well. All right, second burger. Try to get about 2 in there here at a time. I'm just gonna add a little bit more salt to the back side of these, not a ton, just enough to, when we flip, get a crust. So I'm gonna let this stay searing on both sides for about 2 to 3 minutes because I wanna get a nice hard sear. And then we'll flip them over, do the same thing on the other side, and kind of just let them go low and slow so they can continue to cook all the way through. So now we're gonna get these burgers a little flip. Got a nice good sear on one side. So I'm gonna keep it simple. I got a nice potato roll here. I'm just gonna do a little bit of mustard and ketchup and pickle on mine. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Cheese will go good on this burger, but just me personally, as much as I do love cheese, sometimes I avoid cheese a little bit. I feel like it makes me bloat a little bit. So when I do these burgers, I do mine without cheese. I think it's perfectly, I actually kind of like it that way. Like I said, just a little bit of ketchup and mustard. Apparently I need some more ketchup. Get me a couple pickles. I think when we were on the truck, we used to do 3. So I'm gonna do 3. Three pickles. My burger. Right on top. Got a nice thick Southwest turkey burger. Get in here, do the, if any of y'all watch Triple D, it's called the haunch. Got to roll the shoulders back. That's hot. That's very hot. You know, it's great. I mean, definitely is something that I've made plenty of times, so I love this burger. I think you're going to too. It's full of flavor. The one thing that you're just gonna really like about this burger, it's the craziest thing, but those black beans, it just adds kind of like when you have that cheese where you get that melty umami moment, those black beans inside of the burger kind of give you that. It's no cheese flavor, but you still have that creaminess, for lack of a better word, that just goes perfectly. You're gonna wanna make these burgers.